3 pieces of advice you'd give to somebody opening their own business.
I would say having a co-founder is important. You became a co-founder with me on Spruce, and I think that was invaluable because it's a stressful time, and you're going to have a lot of insecurities, and you're going to have a lot of, stress and sleepless nights. And to explain it to your friends and family,
they don't get it.
In my experience, no, not really.
I don't get it, yeah.
Especially, or, I know a lot of people that do startups, but like retail or the barbering, I mean, they're just different animals. So I think having somebody that can be there in the trenches with you and has as much at stake as you do is invaluable. And eventually, you've kind of left the business to work on Spruce Labs. And that was scary and that was kind of stressful. But by then I was also like, we were pretty much a well-oiled machine by that point. If I hadn't had you there in the first couple years, like, I don't know, I probably would have just curled up in a ball and died.
Yeah. Bring a co-founder is very solid advice. Someone to suffer with you, to share in your pain.
It's lonely at the top.
Yeah, I think I recommend 2 co-founders in addition to yourself, and I think that's only because of my anecdotal.
Because then, if you have a vote, there's always it's never tied.
Interesting. It's not about the vote. It's about mediation. So it's not that you're all going to raise your hands and decide something. It's that you and I are getting into it and have a third person who goes, oh, here's what you're saying. Here's what you're saying.
Right.
You're actually not arguing. You're just talking about 2 different angles on the same topic.
Right.
And that to me has been like game changing for sure.
Yeah, I could see that.
So you've got, bring on a co-founder, bring on someone to climb the mountain with you. What else?
Kind of in a similar vein, like finding a network. Like, as soon as we started the business on Tennyson, we joined the Tennyson Business Association, like the Neighborhood Merchant Association. And I think that was super helpful in feeling like part of the community right away. A lot of cross-promoting, a lot of, joint events and things like that. And I think it's important to feel like you are supported by your community and that you have other businesses kind of for that same reason. If you don't have a co-founder, that you have somebody that you can go to and be like, hey, like, who do you use for security systems? Or, what do you do? Who do I call when there's construction blocking my business? I have found some amazing mentor that actually started a salon owners group here in Denver. I found that no such group existed for barbers or for retail owners. I don't know why. I think it's, maybe an ego thing where, everybody wants to fake it till they make it. And I think that it's a really hard thing, especially in like a very macho industry like the barber industry, where nobody wants to admit this is hard and managing people is hard and owning a business is hard and making sure that, everyone's getting paid at the end of the day is stressful. Everybody wants to act like, I got this. I know what I'm doing. I don't want to admit any weakness or vulnerability because then, I don't know, they're worried that they're all of a sudden like, they're going to go under or something like that. So luckily I found somebody that opened one for salons, and a lot of their problems are the same problems that we have, but it is just much more of a supportive open group. And then I did not find anything for retailers or boutique owners, so I actually started my own group. I just started a Facebook page, and I've just been inviting people, and those people invite people, and then we just kind of post, and it's like, just kind of like question of the week, where it's like, are you open on Mondays? Why or why not? Or like, what are you doing for the holidays? Do you guys want to meet up and talk about, what our plans are to boost sales? And that group has been really, really great. And I found some like real gems of people in there with experience and a lot of input and a lot of support. So I would say look for support groups or networking groups where you can find like-minded individuals who might have the same obstacles as you. And if that group doesn't exist, then don't be afraid to start that group, because people will be so thankful. And like, there are other people, like everyone tends to feel very isolated, and they're going to find your group and they're going to be like, oh, thank you so much for making this group. I was feeling like I was just, I was the only one struggling. And it's nice to see that I can safely talk about these things here and we can work on these problems together.
Makes a lot of sense. So you've got find a co-founder or 2, find a mentor or support group, and not even an or and.
I would say, and don't be afraid to be yourself.
Okay.
I think this is something I like personally struggle with a lot. So you are a very like magnanimous person. You are a big character. You're very comfortable speaking in front of people, and you are the way that people view how a CEO should be, you know, right? Where it's like, oh, they need to be able to like work a room and command a crowd
They
and be
don't.
like,
That's totally wrong.
This caricature, you know, like these, but you think of like these big personalities too, like Elon Musk and what's his face from Virgin?
Richard Branson.
Yeah. Or like, you know what I mean? Like, so in my head, it's like, oh, like I need to try to be this person. I need to feel comfortable walking into a room and being able to command it and come away with like a bunch of leads and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I think very much overlooked are the kinds of CEOs that kind of are just Bill Gates does not command a room, right? Like, not to say
I heard that he does, actually. I think
he's not a caricature or like a
stereotypical.
Yeah, he's not like super sparkly, but he obviously is more than capable. Yeah. People respect him. He gets stuff done. And I think that that's something where it's like, oh, I don't have to be that kind of person to have these results. It's just that those people don't command the spotlight.
And they don't get a bunch of articles written about them, and they're not in the news, and they don't make movies about them.
They're not as splashy.
Right.
But the world needs those kinds of people too. I could just be myself. And guess what? I'm nerdy. I like having fun and talking about, you know, movies and pop culture. And that makes a lot of our clients feel very comfortable and they get to feel like themselves. And that's like the number one piece of positive feedback that we've heard from people is they're like, oh, I can just come here and feel welcome and just be myself. I don't feel like all the other barbershops I go to, I don't feel cool enough.
Yeah.
Or like, you know,
I don't feel cool enough and I own a barbershop with you.
Yeah. Or like a lot of barbershops are like, oh, you greet me when I walk through the door. Like, how sad is that? That they go into other places and it's like people don't even care enough about them or are too cool to even greet them. I don't know. It's unbelievable. And so it's like, instead of trying to fit into what these other businesses or these other personalities and trying to emulate them, be yourself, do what you do. And there are a lot more people like you than you think. And that's going to help differentiate you. And those are your people. Those are the people that are going to come to you every 4 to 6 weeks for 5 years. Yeah. Don't worry about those other kinds of guys. Like, they've got spots for them. You don't need to be added to that list of places for them to go. They've got places.
Totally. No, that totally makes sense. So we've got find a co-founder or two to share in the struggle, find mentors and supporters and groups and peers or become one. And then third one is be yourself, do things the way that you'd want them done, and you'll be surprised with how many people think the same way you do.
Yeah.
Great.